Okay, welcome everybody to the second meeting of Cornell Data Journal. I'm really happy that you all showed up, and this is going to be basically the meeting that gets everything started. So if you're interested in writing or contributing to the magazine and getting something published, you are in the right place. Our agenda, I don't think it'll go the full hour, but it might. But the agenda is to first start off with welcome, housekeeping. I know some of you might not have received the first G-body or not have been able to make it, so we'll just, go over some basic things for you. And then we have the editorial process in more detail that we didn't really go into, and the semester at a glance. And then we'll do the main thing, which is brainstorming. And then after we have all your amazing ideas on the sheet, we will then move forward and talk about forming teams and assigning editors and things like that. So if you don't know about us yet, welcome. We are Cornell Data Journal, and we're an online investigative journalism publication that features data visualization, data communication, and interdisciplinary research pieces. We welcome members of all.
Annie?
Or teams collaborating on articles throughout the semester, and we publish them on a rolling basis. We have skill building workshops and seminars, and we are also working alongside different clubs to build a data journalism publishing presence on campus. So one of those clubs is also Professor Walsh's club, which is Digital Humanities Club. We're going to be
I think you're frozen.
Yeah.
on a larger role. Oh no. No. Okay, wait. I'm gonna connect to a hotspot.
Yeah, you're popping in and out.
Okay.
You were frozen for a bit, but we knew what you were saying, and the slides are very helpful.
Oh, so sad. Okay, wait. I'm turning on my hotspot right now, so hopefully. Okay, I'm on my hotspot, so ideally that won't happen again. How long was I frozen for?
Like 15 to 20 seconds? A couple times?
It's so tragic. But okay, yeah, I basically just said this. But for the open call, I guess this is more important, so I'll just start over with it. We are looking for technical editors, copy editors, and editors still. But we do have NU and Ronan who joined us as web editors, and they're going to be working with Andre to develop the website. So welcome to them. I'm sure you get to meet them throughout the semester, and we're super happy to have them. And this could be you. If you want to work with us on an awesome e-board, reach out to Leslie or Megan for each of the roles. The technical editors, again, are basically TAs for different projects. So we'll have different teams working on various assignments, and you'll be helping them debug and advise them on how to form their visualizations and how to design things. So ideally, people in this position need to know a couple of different languages and be kind of familiar with data visualization already. And for the positions under Megan, which are the copy editors and the editors, these are just purely writing. So copy editors do like proofreading and making sure that everything's nice and published and publishable. And the editors are going to be working one-on-one with different people to actually like form their arguments. So yeah, as Leslie said in the chat, reach out to them. Their net IDs are there. You can also email us if that's easier, or Slack. And now we're going to talk about the curriculum survey. We sent this out last week, so thank you to all 18 people who filled it out. It was really helpful. It helped us kind of narrow down what workshops we're going to have. So the top 5 are the main ones. We have the 3.js for like animations and like pretty visualizations, and then some other like more basic tools to help people get started. And what we think we're going to do is take the last 6 down there and kind of incorporate them in some way, maybe like a lesser form, into the first 5. So if you were interested in the last 6, no worries, we'll definitely have them represented. They'll just be combined into larger workshops. And yeah, as it says at the bottom, if you'd like to work with us on building one of these, if you know one of these skills and you really like it, let us know. We'll work with you on doing that. And before we get into brainstorming, we're going to talk about the editorial process in more detail as well. So right now we are brainstorming, and after this we'll be browsing data, we'll be signing up for ideas and forming teams and getting our editors. So after that is all done, after people are separated into their ideas and know what they want to do, we'll be going into drafting. So that includes, like this says, data collection, wrangling, writing them out, and just getting started and working with your editors. From there, we want to give you a chance to peer review and meet each other. So we're going to have critiques. These are going to be super casual. We do it for like 3300 and 4310 a lot, and they're really constructive. They're just a good chance to get to see what other people think about your visualizations. And, you know, a lot of times what you think they're getting out of it isn't exactly what it is. So it's just really helpful. And then after that, we'll be going to the faculty review with Professor Walsh, just making sure that the methodology is sound and like ethical. And finally, just publishing. And if you have any questions about this, just like feel free to put it in the chat. I know it's kind of a lot. We also had this slide last semester, which is just the semester at a glance, or last week, sorry, not last semester. But this is the brainstorming meeting, and then we move into different stages throughout the semester. You can read them here. I kind of already went over them in the first meeting. But yeah. And yeah, now we're going to basically go into like the 3 different categories. I also kind of mentioned this last semester, but again, just make sure that when you're thinking about articles, you're already thinking about like what category your thing might go into. So short form is shorter, focused articles investigating like a smaller question, just number of books read versus relationships, or like how many people are arrested in a certain area over time. Like these are all what these examples are kind of investigating. And a good example is also The Economist's daily charts. They're just like small questions answered with 1 or 2 static visualizations and really straightforward. Mid-form is something that we made up. It's basically just a little bit more complex. So you have interactivity, multiple visualizations, a little deeper of a question, and some storytelling with it. And these are usually called like visual essays or interactive graphs. And finally, we have long form, which is like full-scale narrative essays. We gave an example of this as well last week, but if you click on this link from the slides, it'll take you to basically like a separate web app where like you scroll through an entire article. There are multiple visualizations, there's animation between them, and there's a narrative arc as well. And this can also be exemplified by like New York Times interactive articles. And these are probably going to be group collaboration projects because they're pretty large. And now it is time. So we are going to start brainstorming right now. I'm going to stop screen sharing, and I think Dana is going to start screen sharing now because she's going to be typing them out in this sheet. But basically what this is I'm going to invite everybody to turn on your videos because it's going to be just a really rapid fire open discussion with people just throwing out any ideas that they might have. So there's no judgment. Low stakes, just put out any idea that you might be interested in writing about or investigating, or that you think somebody else might be invited to do. So, and if you want to pull it up and do that.
Yes.
I'm also going to stop recording because I feel like this part being recorded isn't that valuable.
Okay. Yeah. So, am I on mute?
No, you're good.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So yeah, don't be shy. Just like any idea that you have at all, just like feel free to, talk about it. There's really no limit to what you can write about or what you can visualize.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a full-fledged idea. So like as you see down there, I put like 2 examples of like, I literally just thought of these, but things that you might be interested in seeing or like that you would want to read in your local publication. And then at the bottom, they're just like subjects, which like if you have a data set that you're interested in or like you don't know that it exists yet, just put it down there and somebody else might be willing to pick it up and work on it with you. The first example I had was comparing variance between different search engine algorithms. I've been kind of experiencing this lately, like with my job, where you search up something on like Bing, and then you search the same thing up on Google, and completely different results come up. And I think that'd be really cool to try and investigate what the differences between these engines' ranking systems are. So if you had like a set of different search queries, and you put them in across these different engines, what's the difference between them, and like what hypotheses can you draw from them? And the second one is kind of like more fun and more like community oriented. So it's like Cornell tree mapping. I'm sure one of the science labs on campus has some sort of data set, or you could collect it yourself with like some friends, on different trees on campus. And we love trees, so mapping them out, finding the rarest trees, the oldest trees, and making like a fun little activity out of it, I think would be fun. So yeah, if anybody wants to follow up, feel free to raise your hand or unmute or send it in the chat and we will write it down.
Yeah, I had this idea because I was watching this, like, I forgot what the YouTube channel was called, but he does like short videos on people like in Detroit or like in Chicago and stuff, and he just kind of like does like video interviews of these, I guess, people struggling with like drug addiction. And so maybe like something like, like I'm really interested in like West Virginia and like old coal mining states and like drug prevalence there. So
Whoa, interesting. I wonder, like, did they present it as a correlation?
they're like just like video interviews, like just like
Oh, okay.
what is he called, like the one, he's really, it gets really interesting, and or like homelessness.
Got you. And Josh, I see your hand, so we'll go to you right after this. But one more question for Dana. Have you thought about like what would the data collection look like for this?
No. I don't know. There's like a lot of like academic research on it, so like I could probably pull from something like a research essay too.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. I think like compiling data is also something that's really possible. So if you have different sources that are kind of related on a topic, you can create a multi-visualization, just kind of comparing them and like synthesizing them. So that'd be cool. Okay, Josh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just before Josh, I was just gonna tack on and say that I think homelessness has also been a big topic of conversation here in Ithaca, and it would be interesting to think about trying to engage with the community conversation happening as well.
Awesome, yeah. That's a really good point. A lot of publications on campus have like certain sections that are geared towards the Ithaca community. So we could, if we have enough on Ithaca or people are interested, create a separate section for that. Okay, now Josh, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So I have an idea, but just a quick question. For the tree mapping, it says Cornell or any city. I just want to be clear, like, are we trying to focus more on like stuff in the Cornell area, or can it be like I guess you have the comparing variance between different search engine algorithms, but like as far as more geographically based stuff, are we trying to focus like in the Ithaca area?
No, it can literally be wherever.
Okay.
Yeah, I just said any city because I work with one from San Fran for a class and it was pretty cool. So if you're interested in doing that topic, I can send you the San Fran tree map set.
It was actually the homeless thing, because I'm from San Diego and there's like I've done some work like on the homeless population in San Diego. I was just thinking that could be like an interesting, I don't know how we connect that, because they're just, they're on like opposite sides of the country, but that's just an idea.
Really good idea.
The main thing I wanted to look at is like how memes influence the elections. Because
okay.
I just feel like in 2016, there were so many more like memes like centered around the politicians, and I know even the politicians themselves kind of partook in like creating, trying to appear like hip or cool,
Yeah.
like Hillary Clinton did like the Hillary Clinton, and I know like Donald Trump did like the Hotline Bling dance, like, yeah. My point is that people on both sides like did stuff like that, and I was thinking maybe a way to measure that with the stuff like what they did is a little bit harder to measure, but like maybe using like a search analytics for like, and like looking at like what's tagged as like a meme, and then like that also has like, you know, the word Donald Trump or the word like, you know, Joe Biden or whatever in the picture. I'm not exactly sure how it would work, but that's just an idea that I just have like this nagging feeling that like part of the reason that Donald Trump was elected was because of like the memes that people made like on both sides. And it's something I kind of want to explore.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I don't know, I know that you messaged us later that Melanie's having a workshop in the coming weeks about scraping Twitter and Reddit data. I think that'd be a great, if you already know how to do it, no worries. But if you don't, could be a great way to get your data.
Yeah. Is that going to be, sorry, is that going to be sent out in an email or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll reiterate it again. For quick reference though, it's October 15th.
Cool.
And I saw a couple people just joined. We are brainstorming. So if you see on the spreadsheet, we're just writing down various ideas. And I also wanted to reiterate to everybody that any idea that you come up with doesn't have to be what you do. Anybody can sign up for any of these ideas. So like you're basically just putting them into this big box and anybody can sign up for them. Megan?
Yeah, so this is actually an idea that Leslie and I had, but so like on Facebook, you can download like your message data. So we wanted to create some kind of interactive visualizations where you can like go through your own message data and then like see what story your message data is saying. So like who is texting like who first, like what's your most said words, something like that. Maybe Leslie can say more about this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So I guess I made like a prototype about a year ago because I wanted to analyze, I think like trends I saw between me and this like other person I was interested in. And I think just in general on campus, like dating stuff, like dating related things do really well. And then they get a lot of attention. So we're thinking about maybe making this visualization dynamic enough where anyone can input their like Facebook Messenger data. Like obviously we wouldn't store it anywhere. We would just like parse through it. And like based on what their data looks like, we can like maybe, I don't know, visualize certain things. We can maybe even have like a search box where we can like look for certain words like in their text message. Or like maybe we can like look up like who initiates the conversation like more often, or like what's the average word per message or something.
That's so cool.
That's really cool.
I'm sure
similar
also
things.
having a bunch of questions or like thoughts about like I like that Leslie mentioned the storing of the data. Like would we have to kind of work with each idea on like the ethics of keeping people's data or not, and like how we would ensure that we're getting rid of it?
I don't think we even have to keep people's data. It can all be done just like using code on their own computer. Like we don't actually have to send it to the server. And I just had a comment on Megan's and Leslie's idea. So I've seen similar things before that essentially do the same thing. And so I'm wondering how you think that's like, do we have like a unique twist on it, or what the idea is? And I think there's some way we can sort of make this Cornell specific, but I'm not sure how.
One thing we can also discuss is that I'm actually a visualizer for Perfect Match, which if people don't know is like a matchmaking service on campus. And last year we reached about a third of the Cornell population. So like we could potentially collaborate with them, like create like a side project for this.
That's cool.
Is Perfect Match an app?
It's a website. So basically you sign up, you fill out a survey, and then they run some sort of like Gale-Shapley algorithm on your, I guess like the data you give in a survey to like match you with 3 people who are potentially like your perfect match. And then you just like go on dates with them. But it's just like a matching service. So we don't do anything past like the matching part of it. So it's kind of like Tinder or like Hinge, but like on a web app.
I think it'd be cool
Very
if
cool.
they kind of sent out a post survey being like, did you meet up with your people? How did it go? Like, did we do well? And I don't know. I'm just always wondering because I have a couple friends who have mixed reactions from it. I see, is it Manya? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's how you say it. Perfect. I just had this idea that we could also do like a mapping, like possibly within College Town or like the greater Ithaca area, where like the size of each sort of mark represents the rating of a restaurant. So just like if people are like around that area, they'd know which is like the highest rated restaurant, just something like that. So just to see which like to have a consolidated view of which restaurant has a better rating and just like cuisines, and you can like possibly filter by cuisines, just like open-ended, whatever you could do with that.
Nice. I'm not sure. Does anybody have ideas on where that data could come from? I don't know, Manya, do you?
I don't know, possibly like I think the Eatery app does have like the menus and stuff, but I don't know if it actually has like the ratings. If it's just like a Google search that has the ratings, I don't
Yeah,
really
we could
know.
scrape Google. Can you scrape Yelp? Is that a thing?
Yeah, you can call the Yelp API. That's what Eatery uses. Or for context, I was also a developer on Eatery, but that's what Eatery uses.
Yes. Okay, I saw also in the chat that Meta said an idea. Correct me if I said your name wrong, by the way. but-
It's Meta. Yeah, I just wanted to elaborate a little bit on like what I said in the chat.
Okay.
So pretty much, I mean, this is kind of different from what everyone else is saying because this is more like less information, I guess. But just like in cities and also here, like the trash cans are just like crazily overfilling, and like that was not how it used to be. And so I just think like because you can't really like reuse things as much anymore. And so I think maybe like taking a look at like just how maybe like the waste was like in the recent months compared to like late months of last year. And I don't really know if this data is available or anything like that, but maybe like there's probably like landfills have to, I assume they keep track of like what they're like taking in. So I don't know.
Nice.
Wait, I don't know if I can see the chat, but is this like, were you talking about it being like Ithaca specific?
I think it depends on, I mean, that would probably be more interesting,
Mm.
or like a major city or something, but it could be like worldwide. I don't know. It really depends on what people think.
Cool. It's just really interesting because I was like just at the compost area. Like, I don't know. I feel like Ithaca is just like so good at where they keep their compost bins. And I don't know if that's like where they put the trash too. Really don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like at Trillium, they used to have like their compost bins in there, and like now you can't really like use them, I would say.
Mm.
Oh, I think one thing, I work for the sustainability office and they definitely do have access to the data. So if we want to link up after this and talk about like where they're getting this data from and how they're collecting it, they definitely have TerraCycling, composting, and recycling data.
Gotcha.
I'm losing track of like, was it Eric that's next? Because Megan, you already went, right? Or do you have another idea? Okay, so Eric.
Okay. One idea that I had was using geometry to visualize COVID testing and pooled testing data. So I guess something interesting is that you can optimize COVID tests by modeling them in like multi-dimensional hypercubes. So like just think of how like a Rubik's Cube is split up into like smaller cubes of different colors. So by using like visualizations like that, you can show how I guess different methods work better for different like types of populations and different prevalence rates.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if that it takes a while to explain, but
Yeah, I'm confused on the geometry. Sorry, I think I missed it. Like, what's the connection between the geometry thing and the thing that you said about the Rubik's Cube?
okay, so I guess so specifically for pooled testing, So right now, the most common method is to test like batches. And if that batch becomes positive, then you test each sample individually, right? So does that make sense? But there are many different ways to like optimize it. For example, one way is just doing a binary search. Like if one sample comes positive, let's say a sample of 64 tests turns up positive, you test groups of 32, then groups of 16 and groups of 8. But you could do something even better than a binary search, which is, I guess, placing those samples on a multi-dimensional cube. I guess it's hard to explain without like drawing it out or something, but
Yeah.
you can like slice it up. You basically slice up a cube into smaller cubes and test like each cube individually. So yeah.
Whoa. Okay. So would this be visualized as a
Oh, sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah. So would it be a cube as the visualization, and you would interact with it by like dragging to see different sides of the cube?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
Whoa. Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's sick. I've never heard of that. Where did you read about that?
I guess I was interested in pool testing for a while because one of my I saw like a Facebook post about it. And I saw that there's actually like a recent article published about it from some researchers in Rwanda about how to use like the hypercube method. Apparently like the most effective method is to actually make a cube in E dimensions. So it's like 2.7 dimensions. So yeah, I can link the article later if anyone would like to read it.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And if you put in the sheet and put your net ID, people who want to learn more can also like talk to you individually about it.
Yeah.
I think Sam also has a message in the chat for you.
Yeah, that's exactly the same idea I had.
Nice. Yeah, I was thinking about, since COVID is such a hot topic and there's so much data available, I feel like we could have a lot of people from the club work together throughout the semester on doing like a big COVID project. And I mean, this would also stand alone on its own, but if you also had other ideas or anybody had other ideas to build off of this, we could do like multiple COVID visualizations and tie them together in a story as like a club project.
Yeah.
Andre, yeah, your hand was up for a long time. I'm sorry.
It's fine. So I had another election themed one. I was sort of thinking it'd be cool to do a sort of interactive thing that's a comparison of different voting systems. There's first past the post, ranked choice, approval, etc. And I think it'd be cool to sort of have an interactive article where you can sort of vote in that system. It'll give you sort of the choice, and then some explanatory thing, but it'll say like what I guess the impacts and what where these certain systems are used and what the impacts of them are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like if enough people sign up for it, I will definitely want to sign up for that too.
Also, speaking on the COVID thing, I think this is also just more of a potential subject. I'm not sure about specifics, but we could probably get Cornell's testing data in some sort of anonymized form and see, and sort of do some sort of cool visualization with that. Something like that's possible, but I'm not sure what specifically.
Okay. Yeah, no, any sort of idea, whether it's like half-baked or not, is definitely welcome in this sheet because it's just a springboard. So, Sam?
Yeah, I think a lot of us are doing looking for housing for next year, and it's a really uncertain time to be doing that. And I was looking for some statistics on Ithaca housing, and it's very hard to find, surprisingly, especially like historical data. I think I found one article at all that had some very kind of half-baked interaction on their visualizations. It was definitely something that could be done a lot better, and I think it would be really poignant, especially right now, between coronavirus and like the eviction moratoriums are going on. There's a lot of talk about like rent cancellation and stuff like that. and how that affects certain communities. And there's a new development, obviously, in College Town. It's going to be extraordinarily expensive. Like all these factors could be really interesting to analyze and produce some actually maybe useful visualizations for people to understand how the housing market has developed and how it's sort of closed down more recently.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think that's also an article that, again, could turn into a larger thing with multiple visualizations. You had so many ideas in there, and you could do all of them with different like portions of the article too.
Yeah, there could be like, I was thinking something along these lines too, just like, or maybe making like a simulation or something where you could like fill out like how close you want it to campus and like how much you're willing to pay for it. And then like it fills out an algorithm for like where would be the best housing for you.
I don't know if there's enough centralized data to do that, but if we could build something that was centralized enough, that would be really powerful.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it seems like compiling that data would be a huge part of that project, just getting the data itself.
Wait, I forget who said that. Was it Stacy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess would this be possible to scrape from multiple different sites and then just remove duplicates, like scrape from Fortune, Zillow, potentially like Craigslist, I don't know, and just try and cross-reference and delete any duplicates between them, and then try and have somewhat centralized data.
You know if the city of Ithaca does like collecting stuff like that? I don't know if they would.
They might. They probably do. I mean, I feel like it would be bad if they didn't.
I'm in touch with the Ithaca Tenants Union, so they might also be interested in I don't know, getting involved in some way.
So I guess I have like kind of like a different-ish topic, but there's a question that like someone asked in some other conversation, like what was the most meaningful interaction you've had with a stranger? And so like that, I don't know, I feel like that would be interesting to explore, like how conversations or interactions with strangers affect your day or your week or something like that. So
Would that be like a survey that of people describing their interactions with strangers?
I don't know. I actually don't even know if there's like that much on it anyways, but yeah, it could be a survey. It
Yeah,
could be a local thing.
So what you get, like you have one text field that's asking them to quickly like explain it in maybe like less than 150 words. And then you have a couple others that are asking them to like rate. So you have some like quantitative measures too.
Yeah.
I think it's a fascinating question.
Wait, there's a chat from Arpit. Arpit, do you want us to just read it or do you want to like say more about it as well?
Oh, sorry, I was kind of in a loud place. I can say it loud. Essentially, like questioning who is funding some kind of research. So the data sources are like archive or any other publication, and then each of them would probably have something in the conclusion saying this is funded by, let's say, the US Navy, or like the controversial one would be if climate science is funded by Exxon or something. So essentially, or just the distribution of types of companies, types of private entities to the science, and potentially also like how it is perceived. So if it was submitted to a conference, are the reviews or are there any erratas, or was it rejected after a few years? It's kind of like a visualization encompassing that.
Nice. Wow, there's so much happening in the chat. I want to like say it out loud so everybody can hear it. What's the Dear Data project, Leslie?
Oh, so there's these two, I guess like visualizers in the industry, and then during like a 30-day period, so they never met each other, and they would send postcards to each other every single day. Oh yeah, that's the link. And like they would just like, I guess, visualize some sort of like very small part of their life. So for example, one day they might focus on like, let's say like maybe interactions with strangers, and they'll like mark down all the different ways to interact with a stranger, and they'll visualize it like on paper and like send it to each other. So I just thought it was like very similar.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely put that link in there too. I think also I'm losing track of who has the hand raised, so I think it's also weird that I'm calling people, so I guess just speak.
That's very nerve-wracking, but I guess I can just speak. I don't know if this actually fits with this club, but I think there's a lot of interest in Cornell right now because it's like one of the only colleges that's doing like in-person classes. So I thought we could do like an interactive, like, I don't know, like video journal thing on like what Cornell campus like looks like now. I saw there's this really cool visualization on New York Times that's like was the sounds of like New York City during the pandemic. So I thought we could do something like, what does Cornell look like during the pandemic?
It's so cool. What would the data look like for that? Would it be like audio recordings and then you're like kind of analyzing decibels, or?
I don't know if we'd even do any analysis, which is why I wasn't sure it would fit. I was just thinking we could like present like videos. I'll link to what the New York Times article looked like.
I think it'll totally fit. I think that'd be awesome. Yeah, because I mean, we're definitely inspired by like the pudding, which is basically just like a repository for any sort of data that doesn't fit into other journalism publications. And I feel like, especially with video data, that'd be really cool.
One that I was also thinking about is for music. Like, I listen to a fair amount of rap, and when you go from like 90s to now, like some of the lingo kind of changes, and I think it'd be really cool to have like we could have some sort of interactive thing where, you know, maybe there are just graphs of like word use, but it could also be like a, you know, like we could do a frequency thing where like you type in a word and then you can see how often it was used per month for like a year, you know. And I was thinking we could probably scrape like the Genius website since they have lyrics for, I don't know, like a very large portion of songs that are created, and they go back, I think, far enough that we'd have probably at least 30 or 40 years of data.
Definitely, yeah. I think you would also have potential to like cross your data with some Spotify like charts, unless Genius does like ranking of like popular songs too. But you could do some sort of like when people do search, you show the results by popularity of the song, which would probably need another data set.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if like there are so many confounding like variables that I don't think we could draw anything from like just this alone, but like comparing popularity with like word usage, just to see if there's like anything there. Because I have a feeling I'm almost certain it's a lot more than that, because it has to do with like the, you know, the artists themselves and stuff. But that could be cool.
Yeah. And you could also, with the by artist, you could say like, do artists like certain words more? They probably do. And then just another thought that I had when you were saying about people like searching certain words is like, what kinds of words would we search? But anyway, yeah.
I think New York Times did an article very like this. I'm gonna try to find it about rappers. I'll try to link it in chat.
Nice. Does anybody know in general how we can save these links in the chat? Can we download, or should we just quickly like go through and put them into the sheet?
You can download the
If
chat.
you record the Zoom, yeah, if you record the Zoom, you can save the chat.
Okay. So I guess we never stop recording. So that's good.
One thing that I think would be really interesting to dig further into is looking into Amazon and what they've monopolized. The other day, I heard, I don't know, from someone, oh yeah, and then Amazon bought wholesale foods, and now the prices are so much cheaper. It's like, oh my gosh, what else has Amazon bought? And like, when did it happen? Just looking into like history behind weird things that Amazon has bought, and like maybe like how, I mean, obviously like bad labor stuff, but like how Amazon keeps prices cheap.
Yes. Yes. Megan says, I love that idea. I wonder, like, it's just funny because all the data that's public about them, I feel like for every one piece of data you have that's public about Amazon, there's like 9 other things that aren't actually covered that you won't be able to find. But that's fun. It'll be some fun digging. I see Lauren's hand up too.
Yeah, hi. I'm like a freshman, so I don't really know like what this club usually puts out or if it's something relevant like to Ithaca or like interesting. But I saw an article recently about how like it was just about like racial segregation in Boston. It's like where I'm from is like still a really big thing, and I couldn't find any like data visualizations on it. So I was curious. So I was like thinking about maybe making like some type of like heat map of like their like racial makeup of like different cities and communities in the city in like comparison to the suburbs and to each other, since like I know my town is like 95% white, but like it's still pretty close to the city, and I feel like it'd just be kind of relevant right now to like visualize and think about like the factors that cause it, and the data would probably be easy to get from the census or something. So I don't know, but I don't know if that's like
No, it's perfect. Awesome, and it's so built out. You already know they want to do a heat map, which I think is a great medium for it. So yeah, it's definitely welcome. That's a great idea. Any last final questions? We're gonna send out this sheet and you can add to it after this meeting as well. So no worries if you can't like get it all into this session. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, once again, we'll send out the link. So if anything comes up, just add it back on there. And then Dana, I'm gonna take back the screen share because there are just like a couple more slides about like next steps and stuff.
also everyone's ideas was so good. I'm like really glad that I don't know, we just all just brain dumped.
That was awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited, and hopefully already like in the chat, everybody was like collaborating and like sharing ideas. So if we can make a space for you guys to continue to do that, let us know. And I will go back to the slides. So yeah, now those are all on there. We're just gonna set like really loose deadlines. Well, I guess like this isn't loose, but October 5th, 11:59, that's next Monday, is to sign up for your idea. So ideally, if you presented an idea that you want to do, try and do that as soon as possible. Somebody else might sign up for it. You can coordinate with them to either work together on it, or like you can be like, hey, this is an idea, can I do it? Either or. But we ask that by next Monday so that we can assign editors to like different projects that like are well versed in what code or like what things you're thinking about. You sign up on the sheet and Slack or email us to confirm the teams so that by next Tuesday we can have things sort of set and we can talk to like each group about data collection and things like that. And one other thing that I wanted to ask is like, does this time work? I feel like the answer is yes because you're all here, but we're considering 6 p.m. So if 6 p.m. doesn't work for you, just like say it in the chat or like mute and say that it doesn't, because we have a couple people who have conflicts at 5 and we're considering about moving it.
I have something at 6:30, but it's only every other week, so it should be fine.
Whoa, okay. Because we have another person who's only available at 6:30. Okay, I guess we're gonna just have to, maybe 6 is like a good medium between that two then. I see something in the chat as well.
Yeah, I mean, we can always just keep it like this. I don't know.
Well, Megan said 6 p.m. works better. So speak now if 6 p.m. sucks for you. Okay, nice.
One thing it might be worth doing. I mean, it seems like 6 p.m. is fine for everyone. I don't really, any time works for me, but I just want to say like for people who aren't in the meeting, maybe we could just put like a poll in Slack or something.
Yes,
like,
do that. Noted. This is definitely harder, you're right. So we'll send it out, and this is the last thing. This is just like things that we knew off the top of our heads. We can definitely send out something much more in depth. I think remembering that APIs are a thing, we're just going to make a huge list of different APIs and like their guides so that people are thinking to scrape or get data from different sources, they can do that. These are just some starts. Different resources, inspo. And if there's something that you're like, oh, I would really want to find this data set, but I don't know how, we can all talk about it like as a group. Not saying that like any of us would know, but potentially Professor Walsh would as well.
Collecting.
And this is just a reminder. Oh yeah.
Sorry. I was just going to say that collecting the APIs sounds like a great idea. I feel like that would be a really useful resource in itself to like publish as well, because I feel like other people would be interested in that.
That's true. Yeah, maybe somebody's done that before, like compiled a list of APIs. I feel like we don't even have to do that maybe. So nice. We will do that for next week. And these are just 2 reminders. Professor Walsh's first workshop, again, on scraping Twitter and Reddit data. If your idea might want to work with like language data or some sort of like analytics with social medias, this is the place to be. It's Thursday. And the next one is a seminar, and we're just going to learn about the work of Manami Funakoshi. She's a graphics and data visualization journalist at Thomson Reuters, and she does really cool projects. My favorite is Asian Japan, where she modeled demographic data and uniquely looked at the issues of what the elderly population faces in Japan. Very cool. Really cool methodology too, and she'll be talking about that as well. So maybe good for inspo, and that's Thursday the 8th. It's before Professor Walsh's. And that's it. Thank you everybody for coming. This was awesome. I was honestly pretty stressed that like, what if people like don't like, you know, say anything, but you guys were so awesome and we had really cool ideas. And again, this club is definitely for you guys to have a platform to publish your work. So if there's anything that you want us to do that we're not doing, let us know. We are open to feedback. And yeah, any other questions? Okay, I will give you back 10 minutes of your time then. Thank you so much for coming again. And we'll be hanging back as editors to chill and talk to you if you want. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much. This is so fun.
Thank you.
Thanks. This is great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Just email me about anything that you need.
Okay. Cool. Now. Okay, yay. We have really cool projects. Do you have any like suggestions for moving forward, like structurally maybe?
Do I?
Yeah.
Like with regard to forming teams?
Yeah, I guess so. Like, is the structure that we laid out sounding good, or is there any questions or concerns you have with it?
No, I think it sounds good. I mean, I think one question that came to mind was like, if somebody is not super involved in the club, but they have something that they want to publish, what is going to be the sort of like pipeline for that? Is that going to be allowed? It sounds like it's something that you guys are interested in, and maybe that's not quite as important as like the projects that you're going to spend a lot of time on as a group, but that was just one question that came up.